So did y'all know that up to 30% of enslaved people in the Americas were Muslim? Or that one of the largest slave revolts in history happened during Ramadan? Now this is the case because long before the transatlantic slave trade, Islam was thriving across North and West Africa. It was introduced as early as the 8th century through traders, scholars, conquerors, and clerics. And powerful empires in places like modern-day Mali and Ghana embraced the religion, building up cities like Timbuktu, which became a global center of Quranic education and scholarship. But to be clear, the rise of Islam in Africa also intersected with systems of slavery. And although it was separate from the transatlantic slave trade that was led by European powers, for hundreds of years Muslim elites would capture and sell enslaved people, sometimes feeding them into the transatlantic slave trade. But out of the enslaved African Muslims that did survive this erasure, one of the most remarkable is Omar ibn Said. Now he was a Fulani scholar in Senegal who was enslaved in North Carolina in the early 1800s. And despite being forced to publicly adopt Christianity, he secretly held on to his Islamic faith. He wrote in Arabic, quoted the Quran, and left behind documents that still exist today. Now another extremely interesting story is the Malay Revolt, which took place in Salvador, Brazil in 1835. Now this revolt was led by Yoruba Muslims and was specifically planned to occur during Ramadan, as members were at a heightened spiritual state because they were already fasting and gathering in secret. The rebels used Arabic to communicate, wore traditional Islamic clothing, and even carried Quranic amulets for protection. They wanted to overthrow the government, abolish slavery, and create a society where they could freely practice Islam. Now, unfortunately, that revolt was suppressed, and over time, slaveholders did everything that they could to erase any form of identity that can empower enslaved people. This meant that literacy in Arabic, religious knowledge, and African cultural practices were forbidden because they could be seen as threats. And this erasure, of course, feeds into a dangerous myth that enslaved Africans had no culture, no religion, and no resistance. But this is just the tip of the iceberg, and if you want to learn more, check out my Substack newsletter at historycan'thide.com, or if you're on Instagram, just comment newsletter on this post and you'll get DM'd a link to read that. And of course, if you learned something new, share this video to your story and follow for more.